The Night Simon Followed Us by Alex McIntosh. A couple of years ago, I walked home from a bar with two friends, and we were all loaded drunk. The Irish Newfoundland band brought the house down that night. This was, of course, before the pandemic. At Derry's, all you could smell was sweat and sour beer. Not an open window to be found in the place. It was the middle of July, and the air conditioning had all but fizzled out. Several hops to the resin-coated bar for whatever shots were on offer, and we were all but seeing stars. Anyway, for all the fun we had that night, the three of us ended up walking home shortly after. 1 a.m., trashed out of our tree, and it was silent outside. No wind, just humid air, mosquitoes, and the faint sound of electricity humming from the street lamps. We were 2 full streets away from the bar, and faintly heard the last of the rattling yellow cabs collecting the final patrons leaving. We were still having fun, the alcohol still chugging us along like trains about to be derailed across the road at any moment. Nights like this were always a good time. I only started not having fun when I was convinced there was someone following us. Now normally, I couldn't care less. We lived in a small town where everybody kind of, knew each other, and we were quite close to home. But every time I turned around to look behind me and converse with Nicole and Luke, I was convinced I could see someone leaning up from behind this old house, watching us, and as if the head was tilted to one side. I tried to focus my eyes on the shape, but it was no use. My perception was still whitewashed. Just when I thought I was regaining something, the person had gone. Nicole and Luke carried on walking, stumbling ahead of me, even while the two of them were laughing and talking foreign jargon to each other. Luke must have had some idea of something bothering me. He asked, "Why are you so far behind us? Something got you freaked out?" I answered, "Man, I think there's somebody following us." Nicole smiled and asked, "Is it a baby fox?" "No, behind that old house there's somebody poking their head out from the side of it just looking at us," I said, my voice giving away a discomforting air. Luke laughed it off. What a weirdo, who'd do that? They carried on their jaunt, facing the road ahead. Just less than a kilometer and we were home. I checked on them, walking ahead of me, and some inner thought made me turn around again. As I turned my head around, my peripheral vision picked up a person standing in the middle of the road less than 30 feet away from us. When I focused my eyes to the road, the person was gone again. Nicole and Luke were right. I was freaked out. So I began to gentle jog to catch up to them. When I had caught up to their gentle laughter, I stubbed my toe against the curb and fell nearly flat on my face, with my hand just saving me from injury. This made Luke bust a gut laughing. I mustered a chuckle, but couldn't get the feeling out of my head. "You are so scared, man. You're running after us now?" Luke yelled at me in merry hysterics. "Man, I swear there is someone following us," I said with every bit of solemnity I could pass. I turned around to the point and showed them where I saw the person, and my heart jumped in my throat. Less than 10 feet away, the dark figure of a tiny, naked man stood watching us in the middle of the road. He couldn't have been more than 3 feet tall, but he was wirily slender and proportionate. His healthy gray skin was matted with pieces of coarse hair, and his eyes locked onto mine. I forced myself up from the ground, and he started to take tiny steps closer to us, his bare feet not making any sound on the hard road. "Who the hell are you?" I shouted, panicked. Nicole gave me a look, as if I was crazy. Her next reaction I just couldn't comprehend at the time. She actually began walking towards it. "What are you doing? Get away from it, Nicole!" Nicole didn't bat an eyelid, and wore an expression as perplexed as mine. What she said next made no sense. "I never knew you had a fear of cats," she said gently. With this she began to pet the man's head, running fingers through his matted and oily-looking hair, and smoothing him down. All I could see was a set of intense and inhumanely oversized burning eyes staring at me, with a smile of wide, unnaturally large canine teeth. I could hear my own hyperventilating, and I'm sure they all could too. I was practically frozen. "Wow, you really do have a fear of cats?" Luke asked, slurring his speech. Nicole stated, "This is Simon. Simon loves us, and he follows us home sometimes."